So much for joining the live today. So, we are going to get right in it. I've gotten a lot of messages from everyone saying, I need you to just get right in it. I have ADHD, I'm neurodiverse. You're going to lose my attention. So, today's live, we're going to talk about time lapse in a neurodivergent person. And I was just telling everyone on Clubhouse that time lapse could be you thinking that you have a lot of time when you don't, or time lapse can also mean that you think that the deadline that is 6 months from now is more important than the deadline that is right around the corner. Or doing things or not doing things that you're supposed to be uh doing. So, oh, here's someone. Let's see. Belinda says, so gotta go to YouTube instead. And I said, yes. So a lot of the people on Clubhouse are like, how do I find you? So I went ahead and posted in the houses on Clubhouse. You just click on the link and it will take you directly to me. Um, all right. So I muted myself um on YouTube. So and I see that the live is going, so you can hear me on YouTube. All right. And so you don't do things that are associated with the deadlines coming up. So one of the things that you don't do is you don't, oh, Belinda's here. Hi, Belinda. Hi, Belinda. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so I'm so happy that you joined, Belinda. I really, really, really appreciate it. I wanted to do everything where everyone would we would all benefit. And I figured that YouTube is a place where everyone would benefit. So I changed. I mean, I will go to Clubhouse every now and then, guys, but definitely YouTube is where we're at. That's where we're going to be moving forward. But I was just talking about time lapse. And another thing that we do with time lapse is we do not do the things that is associated with that event. For example, one of the examples that I gave on Clubhouse about 10 minutes ago is if you have an event that you're going to and you know you do not have appropriate attire at home, and you know that you are a picky person, you will delay going somewhere knowing it's going to take you an exorbitant amount of time to find what you're looking for. So you wait until the last minute to go, and then you show up, can't find what you're looking for, and now you're out of time. Another, it could be the total opposite. It could be you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go grab something and go. And then you show up like you grabbed something and went. So your clothes might not look completely wrinkled free. It might not look clean and neat. Or even the entire outfit might not be exactly appropriate for the event. It might be borderline appropriate for the event, and it might be a meeting where you're asking donors, private donors for money, or a meeting where you're trying to get a government contract, or if you're a W2 worker, maybe even if it's just hanging out with your boss and the people that can have an impact on your life and your career, you still want to make sure that you show up appropriately, you show up proper, because it may not be like an official promotional meeting, right? Or raise pay meeting, but they are still trying to get to know you. If you are someone that they can go to bat for in this company, if you are someone that they can feel comfortable recommending to their boss, okay, I am moving to this department, or I am retiring and I am recommending X, Y, and Z. It's okay for me to leave now because you can trust this person. And you need to show up that way. So time lapse can look so differently in many areas. It doesn't necessarily have to be um It doesn't necessarily have to be that you got the time wrong. It could be associated events with that. Okay. So what oh, hi TJ. TJ says hello. Hello TJ. Thank you so much for joining the live. I did, you know what? Let me go ahead and get the link for you guys if you guys want to join. There is literally no how do I call it? No pressure to join the live. If you don't want to join the live and you just want to hang out in, that's perfectly okay. TJ and Belinda, if you want to come and join and speak, you're more than welcome to. It's totally up to you. My lives are really, really relaxed, really comfortable, and so there's really no pressure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you examples of what's going on in my brain and how what that looks like for me on a daily basis. So lately I have a lot of projects working, right? Some huge projects in the making. And I thought I can just, get up and just sort of do it. Well, I realized that I couldn't do that. I literally have to get myself on a schedule, like I'm going to work, literally like I'm going to work. So I first said, okay, all I need is an hour and 20 minutes, right? I got up, and an hour and 20 minutes was not nearly enough. So the next week, I said, well, I was only 10 minutes behind. So maybe I can just set my alarm for 10 minutes earlier. Well, guess what? The next week, I was 20 minutes behind. So I set my alarm for 20 minutes earlier. And then after the second time of doing that and running out of more time, I realized this is nonsense, Marsha. You have got to sit down and figure out how long it's going to take you to do this morning routine to get this to get yourself ready so you can go and complete this project that you need. And it's like a year long project, guys, that I'm working on. So it's not something I can just, clock in or, nothing like that. Hi, it's Casa Blackula. Hello. Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining. Hello. Let me make sure I say hello to you. Hello, Casa Blackula. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to let you guys know, Casa Blackula, that the link is there in the chat. You can join the restream or to speak, or you can just hang out and talk in the chat, or you never have to say anything in the chat. It's totally up to you. Totally chill. So I was just continuing my story, letting everyone know that with my neurodivergent brain, it literally took me almost an entire month to get my morning routine down, because I was underestimating the time it would take to get myself ready. And let me give you an idea of what I do in my morning routines. When I was young, I just sort of got up, didn't eat breakfast, right? Didn't even have coffee. Just sort of, got up, took a bath, brushed my teeth, put my clothes on and go, right? But now that I'm 41 years old, I get up, I meditate, I write in my journal, I have my coffee, I have my protein shake. I if my clothes are not properly ironed the night before, I do that in the morning, and I just double check my bag to make sure everything that I needed that I packed from the night before is there, and I have my lunch, right? Because even though I'm an entrepreneur and I'm meeting this person, doing that, I'm still on the go. And for an ADHD person, grabbing fast food and getting those oily, starchy, salty, sugary stuff in my brain is not going to be good for me to function. I need some healthy food, some brain food. I need lots of water, alkaline water that's going to send that oxygen to my brain, not give me brain fog, not going to be loaded with lots of MSG that's going to make me feel full really quickly and heavily. Because when that happens, I'm unable to think properly, organize thoughts in my head, and I'm sometimes I even have blurry vision because I eat stuff with when you're out and eating, grabbing food at restaurants, they do put MSG. I don't care how fancy it is. I don't care how expensive it is. They put a lot of garbage in that food. So I try my very best, even though I'm working for myself and I'm not going to like a job to clock in and clock out. I try my very, very best to make sure that I pack my lunch every single day. Every single day. Um, and so that is all part of my morning routine. I also started doing a full makeup in the morning. I don't know what it is about doing my makeup. I feel really, really beautiful. I feel like I'm floating on air. I don't know. It just gives me a sense of confidence. And when you're confident and you're not thinking about being confident, you're not trying to be confident. It's more like a quiet or silent confidence. People want to be around you. People are magnetized to you, and so they're more likely to buy what you're selling. So if I'm trying to get a government contract or several, right? If I'm trying to, I don't know, flip the property that I have, if I'm trying to um, steal someone and I want them a part of my team, right? And I want them to get on board, I need to exude that confidence, right? And so all of that is all part of my morning routine. And because I have ADHD time lapse, and you don't have to have ADHD to have time lapse, you can just be a regular neurodivergent person, okay? And you can have time lapse. I have ADHD, both inattentive and hyperactive, along with impulsivity and um movement, uncontrollable, movement. So of course, I'm all over the place, right? My hormones are all over the place. And so I am not really sure when I'm going and when I'm coming. So of course I'm not going to um scaffold out the appropriate amount of time it takes for me to get ready. And so once I did that, it took me about a month to do that, 4 weeks of making the same mistake over and over and over again. And that's another thing with neurodivergent people. It's like I just see the mistake, right? I see that every morning, every week that I need more and more time. And instead of like giving myself a huge amount of time to get ready, I'm like giving myself these 10-minute increments of time, trying to hold on to that sleep, that little extra 10-minute worth of sleep. And all I have to do is go to bed 10 minutes earlier the night before. And then I would find out that my body will naturally wake up. But of course, I'm stubborn, and that's part of being part of my oppositional um defiance diagnosis. So sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm oppositional and defiant to other people. It can also show up in us being oppositional and defiant to ourselves, being stubborn to our own detriment. So that is one huge example I gave you guys of time lapse, like not um estimating the proper amount of time it's going to take me to get up and get started with my day. Another thing that I used to do, I don't do it anymore. And I don't know if you guys noticed that the YouTube lives are getting more and more consistent. Whereas when I first started, it was all over the place. I had this time, I had that time. And that's because I wasn't really preparing. I'm like, oh, it's a clubhouse room, it's a YouTube live. I have plenty of time, right? I have plenty of time. So that's also time lapse, okay? So it's not just underestimating the time, it's also overestimating your time, thinking that you have plenty of time for something and you really, really don't. Or task associated with that time. If there's research that needs to be done, if there are books, there are articles, there are websites, there are resources that I need to give you doing this live YouTube, and I have not taken the time to do that, that is also part of time lapse. It means that you are not getting the value that you came here for. It means that you cannot really fulfill um complete your life, because you're here on this live, right, to get some resources, not just to listen to me talk and support me, but also get some resources that you can use in your everyday life. So if I don't have those resources, if I don't have those website links, if I don't have those articles that you can refer back to, I am unprepared. And when I am unprepared, my viewers, you guys are unprepared. So that's another way that time lapse results in sabotaging ourselves. So time lapse can have major consequences on our lives. It's not just, oops, I missed the deadline. Oops, I underestimated. Oops, I overestimated. No, these have negative consequences in our lives. It can cost us immensely. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of what goes on in my brain. Um I'm Another thing is, I remember when I was working at the hospital, and I thought, I just need, one uniform. I don't need two. So I found myself coming home and washing the same uniform every night. And I realized I don't have time for this. There are days when I come in, I just want to just jump in the shower and get in the bed after being at the hospital all day for hours on end. I don't want to do any of that. And so, of course, I realized I probably need a week's worth of uniform. And then at the end of the week, after I've rested, when I'm no longer working on my day off, then I can wash everything and get all of those uniforms prepared for the next week. But because I have time lapse, and time lapse is also associated with the task that I have going on, it's not just the time, it's also the things that you have to do associated with your time. So, I'm thinking one uniform would be okay, when really and truly I needed a week's worth, because I was not disciplined enough to come home every night and throw them in the washer. Now, some people are very, I mean, I watched the movie Accountant, um, with J-Lo's husband, I forgot his name, and he had one fork, one knife, one spoon, you know, and he washed those things out every day. And then after he ate breakfast, he washed that out, so he can have it for dinner. And I'm just not that disciplined. Some people are, but that you really have to know yourself and stop trying. Well, for me, I had to stop trying to be something I'm not. I know I'm not that disciplined. I will kill myself to make sure that I am that disciplined and get annoyed with it. If I know I'm not that disciplined, all I have to do is set up other things in place to accommodate my personality. That's all. If I know I'm not that disciplined, all I got to do is just purchase some more uniforms so that I can have for the entire week. No biggie. Some people are more disciplined than others. And that's one of the things I've learned with my time lapse to do is I've learned to. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? One of the things I've learned to do is to be okay with my faults and work around my faults. So if I am not able to be as disciplined, if I am not able to perform at a certain level, that's okay. What do I need to do to accommodate that? So I was trying, like, to have, like, the cleaning lady come less, because I thought I was being lazy and I was being a slob and I was just spending way too much on that um particular part of my life. And what I realized is that I don't want to do it. I don't want to clean my house. I don't. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to outsource it. in order for me to be able to organize my life so that I can get things in order, I need to be able to pay for the things that I am not willing to do or don't want to do. So that that is one of those. So if you are not okay with certain things, don't beat yourself up about it like I did. Go ahead, if you have the money, outsource it. If you don't have the money, don't outsource it, right? Figure out a way. Maybe, you work better breaking up your daily cleaning routine, or maybe you are okay with the mess and then only cleaning it once a day. Be okay with that. Don't look at someone else and say, "Man, wow, they get a deep cleaning every week. How are they able to do that? I only like spot clean, every day." Or don't look at yourself and say, "Man, that person cleans every day. They're able to organize stuff, a little bit at a time. And I just live like a slob and like deep clean every Saturday." Don't do that. However, you are the way you are because that is how your brain is able to function. You are you. You are Marsha. You are Belinda. You are Casa Blackula. You cannot function like Marsha. And Belinda cannot function like Casa Blackula. We are all different and be comfortable with that. Belinda said, yes, you can hear me. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Belinda. Yeah. So try to accommodate yourself because I'm going to tell you for a neurodivergent person, we are obsessed with thinking over and over and over. We just cannot let go of things. And the last thing you want to do is get obsessed with why you are not some way, why you are not the way other people are, because that is just going to throw you off. And once you're thrown off, it will throw everything else in your life off. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If I'm obsessed with trying to do something the way Belinda or Casablanca is doing it, I am not getting up in the morning and doing my morning routine so that I can have a great day. And guess what happens when I don't have a great day? I don't have a great night. I can't sleep at night. And guess what happens when I didn't sleep the night before? I don't have a second great day. So do you see what I mean? It goes from one part of your life to the other part of your life. And everyone that is getting in contact with you in that day is getting that Marsha, that obsessed person who's obsessed with Belinda and Casablanca and how they are doing things well and how you are not doing things well. And the business associates that you are encountering, the projects that you're working on, that you're trying to accomplish, they are getting the messed up, discombobulated Marsha. And they're not going to want to do business with you or me or that representative that they are seeing. Or let's say you're working for someone, your boss, your colleagues, they're not going to want to work with you that day. And people, it's very difficult for people not to talk, right? So they normally, when they notice something off about you, they don't keep it to themselves. They normally spread it like wildfire. So now the people that you encounter think that you're off, and now everybody else that they encounter now has this idea about you. So it transfers to every part of your life. And let's talk about children. So if you're off and you're obsessing about the way someone else is doing something, right? About how they're able to manage time, if how they are not able to have time lapses and you have a child that is neurodivergent, which I do, how are you going to guide them, direct them, advise them, be there for them, nurture them? How are you going to instill that cognitive behavioral therapy that they're going to once a week or twice a week? How are you going to do that if you can't do it within yourself? So it really does transfer in every parts of your life, from personal to professional to family to friends to business partners to colleagues to strangers, everyone that you meet in your life. So the only information that I have just from giving you guys some insight of what's going on in my brain is to work with yourself, work with your brain, work with the way you do things, the way you like things done. And if you are not sure of the way you do things, of the way how you like things done, start being aware of how you feel. How do you feel? For instance, I noticed that I feel really good when I put my makeup on. When I was younger, I was annoyed by makeup. I couldn't stand it. It was itching on my face. I felt it all over my face. And the time it took to learn how to put on a full face, I was annoyed by it. So you know what I did? I stopped. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. It's taking too much of my time. It's getting on my nerves. So I'm okay with showing up with no makeup. At 41, I love makeup. I love playing in the makeup. I love buying different kinds of makeup. I love watching all of the YouTube videos about how to highlight and contour. So it makes me feel good. It gives me endorphins in my body. It just makes me feel really good inside and it releases stress out of me. So once I noticed that, I kept giving my brain, my central nervous system more of those endorphins. And so if you're not sure, like I said, of what you like to do, pay attention to how you feel when you're doing things. So if you're feeling a lot of anxiety when it comes to a time sensitive thing or something that's not even time sensitive, make a note of that in your journal. And if you don't like journaling, just take a piece of paper or maybe send a text message to yourself. So at least you'll be aware, okay, I feel anxiety over this. So I know to do less of this. Or to counteract this anxiety, I can do something else. Because how can you fix your time lapse judgment if you're not aware of what's going on in your brain and how you feel? So, just to recap and review, it's going to be a very, very short live today, about 30 minutes. Just to recap and review, time lapse can be you underestimating, right? Thinking that you don't have enough time when you have a lot of time, and that can result in you. Um, if you think you don't have enough time and you do have a lot of time, you putting a lot of pressure on yourself, which is unnecessarily pressure, and filling yourself with cortisol levels, which is not good for neurodivergence. Another thing is you can overestimate the time. The deadline is approaching and you think you have forever and you don't. And you either, you miss the deadline, and of course that can have poor consequences or, um, abysmal consequences. Another thing that you can do is just not have any idea of the time at all. You're just like da 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 dee 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 dee. Belinda said red lipstick is a great trick to make one's face look made up. Yes, Belinda. I love red lipstick. Ooh, let me write it in the chat. I let's see. Let me write. I love red lipstick. Yes. Red lipstick, I just love it. I didn't used to like red lipstick because when I put it on my skin, I it didn't look good on me until I started buying a whole bunch of reds and I figured out the best red that looked good on my face. Ah! Shayandra! I missed you! I missed you, Shayandra! Oh my gosh. Hi. I'm late and I've been MIA. Glad to be back. Hello, everyone. Oh my God. It's so wonderful to have you here, Shayandra. I know you've been really, really, really busy, Shayandra. And I know that you work a long very long hours and you work a lot, so I know that you have some big goals and dreams that you were trying to accomplish as well, like I know. And I just want to tell you thank you so much for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Belinda, Shayandra, Belinda was just telling us, well, I should call you by your YouTube name, Jay Hizzy. Belinda was just telling us that red lipstick makes one's face look made up. So if you don't want to do a full face, just put on some red lipstick, because we were talking about our confidence and how when it's time for me to do my morning routine in the morning, I feel really good when I have my makeup on. So Belinda was giving me a little like makeup hack. Instead of putting on a whole face and it taking up the whole time, because we know putting on a whole face takes a lot of time, Belinda was just giving me a hack, a makeup hack. So Belinda, thank you so much for that hack. Actually, I'm going to use that this week. Just throw on that red lipstick and then have the red lipstick speak for itself, opposed to sitting down and doing a whole face. And I bet you, Belinda, that'll cut back a lot of time doing my makeup time. But Belinda, we were just and Jay Hizzy, we were just wrapping up our live. The three things I was talking about was underestimating the time that you have for something, or overestimating, or not even considering the time at all, just being very disrespectful of your own time and other people's time. And then time lapse can also be associated with the things that you have surrounding that timed event. So it could be you maybe, not having the appropriate attire if you need to buy something for an event, or maybe overdressing for an event, or it could be supplies that you need for an event and you don't get those supplies because you thought had it at home and you didn't, and now you show up unprepared. So it could be so many things. um, Jay Hizzy said, I missed you too. I missed a lot, but did watch the coffee and nicotine replay. I loved it. And thanks for the lipstick hack, Belinda. Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad you got that coffee and nicotine hack. I actually did the coffee and nicotine right before I came on this live to give me a rush of dopamine. And um I learned that I was using endorphins and dopamine interchangeably. I think 3 days ago, that they're the same, but they're also different. That endorphins is like they do give you pleasure, right? They activate the pleasure zones, or the pleasure in our body, in our brain, in our nervous system. But endorphins is more of a release, like a massage. You're releasing the stress, releasing the pain. And then the dopamine is a rush, like a rush of sugar to get you motivated so you can carry on through something. So I did get that nicotine and that coffee right before I did that clubhouse room. And so I don't know if you notice with my voice, the tone in my voice is faster. That's because of the nicotine and caffeine rush that I had before I joined the live. Belinda said, mascara and concealer if needed. Hmm, I like that. So just the red lipstick and then the mascara and the concealer if needed. I like that, Belinda, because that means you don't have to do all of that extra stuff. Extra stuff. Okay, well, we're done, guys. I just want to tell you, ladies, thank you so much for joining. I really, really, really appreciate it. That's it. The replays will be up for you guys. I didn't forget about the ADHD body doubling. I keep getting emails and back channel about the body doubling. I'm going to see if I can get that done for you guys. So, for those of you guys who don't know, body doubling is just me getting on a live and then not really talking, not really doing anything. So I'm here, right? And I may come off mute every once in a while to say, hey, I'm here. Now, if I showed my face, then all you would see is my face. So you would know that I'm here. There would be no need for me to get off mute, right? But you don't speak because we're all working. Like your Shayandra would be driving, Belinda would be working. We're all working, and we just want each other's company, so we don't feel like the walls are closing in on us, so we don't feel like we're alone. And that's what body doubling is. You're doubling another body in the seat as if they are right next to you in an office. So it's not a live where I'm saying anything. Now, if you guys want to come off mute and talk to each other on the live or type in the chat, that's perfectly okay. But it's, it's not meant for us to say anything. We're just meant for us to know that we're all there and we're not alone. So one person could be cleaning their house, another one could be working from home, another one could be running errands. It doesn't matter. But yeah. So what I'm gonna do is try to do that this week. Jay Hazy said, "Bye, y'all. I'm gonna make sure my Clubhouse and YouTube notifications are on, so I'm on time." And yeah, I'm a body doubling girl too, girly too. Yeah, I promise I'm gonna do that. I mean, every week, my email and my Clubhouse back channels are filled with, when are you going to do the body doubling? When are you going to do the body doubling? So I'll try to get that done. Belinda, Jay Hizzy, oh yeah, Jay Hizzy said, let's connect on Clubhouse too. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we shall. TJ, thank you so much for joining the live. I really, really, really appreciate you, ladies, so much for joining the live. And I'll see you guys next time. And of course, I'll leave the link so you guys can listen to the replays. See you next week. Ending the live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.